Barucha haba b'shem Adonai. Blessed is she who comes today in the name of God. And as exciting as her birth was, today is, I think, actually more special because our daughter is being welcomed into the covenant of the people of Israel. And so I thought it'd be nice if we let her know she's welcome by singing the words of Hine Matov from Psalms 133, how good and pleasant it is that brothers and sisters dwell together. So please, let's join together. Hine Matov
Manayim Shevezakim Yam Yakan
Hine Matov
Manayim Shevezakim Yam Yakan Matov Shevezakim Yam Yakan Shevezakim Yam Yakan
Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad Hine Matov Yalalai Yalalai Hine Matov Yalalai Yalalai Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Ahim Yachad. We say, Ze Hakiseh She'Eliyahu Zachor Latov. This is the chair of Elijah, whose spirit is with us, and we want to go and, well, actually, then people can't see. So we'll just point it out. And as we welcome this new life today, so too do we pray that Elijah's remembrance be for good, bearing the promise of God's redemption. We hope and pray that our daughter will see that redemption in her lifetime, but we hope in every lifetime there's a potential for some sort of messianic figure to come. And who knows, maybe we're a bit biased, but we think it might even be our daughter herself, but I don't know. And so that we have that chair of Elijah here. When Israel stood at Sinai to receive the Torah, the Holy One said to us, present to me good guarantors, that you will guard my Torah, and then I shall give it to you. And they said, our ancestors are our guarantors. And the Holy One said, you know, your ancestors aren't sufficient guarantors. Bring me better guarantors. And for them, I will give the Torah. And they said, our children will be our guarantors. And the Holy One said, they are certainly good guarantors. For their sake, I shall give you the Torah. And what we learn from Martin Buber as well is that every person born into this world represents something new, something that has never existed before, something original and unique. It's up to us to know and recognize that this new person is unique in the world, a singular character and personality, and that there has never been anyone like this child before. For if there had been, there would be no need for this new life to enter the world. Is that Maddie, by the way?
Yeah.
Come on in.
Come on in.
No, come on in. You're right on time. I recognize you without the mask. What's the, oh, okay. Virginia in. And so perfect time, Maddie, because we actually wanted to share a little bit about our daughter's birth. Oh. There we go. So our daughter entered into the world in not the smoothest way. Jill went into labor the evening of Tuesday, June 8th. Oh, that's my phone. I was like, whose phone is going off right now? Bad rabbi. Turn that off. Our daughter entered into the world in not the smoothest way. Jill went into labor the evening of Tuesday, June 8th, and we got to the University of Utah Hospital around midnight on June 9th. Apparently, this was a popular day to be born, as 20 babies were born that day, including 3 sets of twins at the U. While we were there, they told us that they would send us home for a bit, but they noticed the baby's heart rate dipped during a contraction. As the day went on, so did the contractions as well, and so too did the dips in our daughter's heart rate. We were scared that what we had anticipated being the best day of our lives was going to become the worst. We were blessed to have a wonderful angel that day in Nurse Ashley, who's here. Thank you, Ashley, for being here, who made us her entire focus. Whenever the baby's heart rate would drop, Ashley would run in and her heart rate would immediately stabilize. And everybody started to joke that the baby just wanted to hang out with Ashley. As the day progressed, the situation got a bit scarier. And at one point, our baby's heart rate dropped to a dangerously low point for 5 minutes, and a code was called, and Jill was rushed out for an emergency C-section. Fortunately, the team there stabilized her heart rate, but we were told to expect a C-section, and a final decision would be made at 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., we were told that they were going to do a C-section, except Ashley wanted to try one last thing and convince the team to put an amniotic fluid infusion back into the womb to see if it would calm the baby. She did so, and Nurse Carly took over, and we watched as her heart rate began to stabilize, and Carly gave us hope that we might not have to have a C-section and would still have a healthy baby. Following Carly, Nate, the midwife, took over. We had never heard of a male midwife, and we asked, what do we call him? Was it mid-husband? However, we looked up the term and found out that midwife literally means with woman, and this most wonderful man exemplified that term beautifully. He was a comforting, non-anxious presence, and he put Jill in new positions, and before we knew it, told us our baby was ready to come into this world and helped us welcome her. Turns out her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck twice, and like her dad, she had a full knot in her cord, which is extremely rare. Following delivery, our new wonderful family was taken care of by Maddie, the most wonderfully compassionate aide. We're so glad you're here, Maddie. And also along our entire journey, in good times and bad, was the exceptional care of Jill's OBGYN, Dr. Carrie Gibson. More people in. Apparently, of the 20 babies born that day, ours was the most challenging. Signs of what's to come, I think, as a teenager. And when Nate announced that baby Spectre was being born, everyone in labor and delivery started cheering. And the next morning, when Ashley started the morning shift, it was announced that after 22 hours in labor at the hospital, that baby Spectre had been born. Everyone again started cheering. In a world full of so much division and hatred, to have our little girl enter the world being loved by so many people and having complete strangers cheering for her touches us in the most profound way. As a result of all these people and the courage shown by our daughter's incredible mother, we have our little girl today. And I want to just acknowledge you and thank you. We are forever grateful for the two of you and for your colleagues. And our daughter will grow up hearing this story and knowing your names. Thank you. And so thank you for that. I want to acknowledge you all. And also give mom a little blessing for healing, recovery. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולה רבקה בת מרדכי הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליה להזיקה ורפאתה וישלח לה מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף בתוך שאר החולים והזק את ידי העוסקים וצורכיהם. And so Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to Rivka, Bat Mordechai, Jill, Spector. And may, I almost forgot your last name. And may the Holy One mercifully restore her to health and vigor, granting her spiritual and physical well-being, together with all others who are ill. May God grant strength to those who tend to them. And at this time, we want to do a couple of things before we announce the name, where we welcome her even more so into the people of Israel. And to do so, we're going to need some help from some grandparents. And so I'd like to invite Grandma Maggie and Popeye to come up here. Our daughter is very lucky. She has 6 wonderful grandparents who love her and 1 great grandparent still. And so first, actually, Jill, we will say this blessing for our daughter. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehachnisah b'ivrit am Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to bring this child into the covenant of our people Israel. In the Torah, we read that 3 angels appeared at Abraham and Sarah's tent as a sign of warmth and hospitality. They welcomed them by washing their feet. And we are now going to wash your feet as we formally welcome you into the covenant of our people. May the values of love, of warmth, and of hospitality, which our ancestors Abraham and Sarah modeled for us, be ever present in your life. And so I'd love to invite, as a sign of hospitality, my southern mom and husband John to take a washcloth there next to the bowl. And if you could dip the washcloth and wash her feet, that would be great.
I know, it's cold. She says, what is that?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zocher habrit b'rchitzat raglaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who is mindful of the covenant through the washing of feet. Amen. Thank you, Popeye. You can set that down. And I would like to invite up, you guys can go back to your seat for a moment. Don't go too far. I'd like to invite up Zadie and Gigi as well. We have these candlesticks here that were our daughter's great-great-grandparents' candlesticks on her mom's side. And so we'd like to invite you to light these 2 candles right here. Oh, sure. Light was the first of God's creation. As light appeared, it brought with it the possibility of all wondrous things to follow. We too kindle lights of hope, of understanding, of celebration, of countless new possibilities. This precious child with whom we have been blessed has already brought light into our lives. May God's radiance continue to shine upon us, and may she grow to be a source of light to all those around her. May her radiance illuminate the world, and may the light of Torah and mitzvot shine in her deeds. And may she help bring the light of redemption to the world. As we read in Psalms, your word is a lamp to my feet, a light to my path. And as we read in Isaiah, arise and shine, for your light has dawned. God's radiance shines upon you. May Adonai continue to shine upon you, and God's brilliant presence surround you. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who is mindful of the covenants through the kindling of lights. Say, Amen. All right, thank you. And last but certainly not least, we would like to invite Saba and Grandma Spector to come on up here. And this talit has been with me throughout my Jewish journey. I wore it when for the first time when I became a bar mitzvah. I wore it as well when I was ordained as a rabbi, and it covered our chuppah at our wedding. And so now I'd like to ask you if you could please wrap your granddaughter in it. We come together, and don't catch you on fire. We come together to welcome this child into the covenant of our father Abraham and our mother Sarah. God said, I will maintain my covenant between me and you and your offspring to come as an everlasting covenant throughout the ages, to be God to you and your offspring to come. Jill, do you want to read that paragraph?
The talit is an embracing symbol of the covenant between God and the Jewish people, and we are reminded of the mitzvot of the tzitzit on its corners as a symbol of. Today, we envelop our daughter into the folds of the talit as a symbol of her entry into the covenant with God and Klal Israel.
You are a welcome member of the Jewish people. Today, you become the newest link in the covenant of the people of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zocher habrit ve'atifah v'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who is mindful of the covenant through being wrapped inside a garment with tzitzit. And now, the moment that we've been waiting for, that the grandparents have been waiting for. They didn't know for 9 months if we were having a boy or a girl, and now for 9 days they haven't known this baby's name. So we will give her her name. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imatenu. Our God and God of our ancestors, we join together now in thanking you for the gift of this precious child and the sacred blessing of this sacred moment. We pray that her life will be one of health and happiness, full of love and learning. May Torah always be in her heart and her hands engaged in Tikkun Olam, repairing the world around us. As she now receives the name of Miriam Ruth Spector. Miriam Ruth, or in the Hebrew name, you got a gift card, Danny. There was an office tool. As she now receives the Hebrew name of Miriam Ruth Bat Harav Shmuel Eliezer, the Rivka. We hope that your presence will always be with her, guiding and supporting her through all the stages of her life. As she grows, may she do her name proud, honoring those who have come before her through her actions and inspiring future generations by way of her spirit and character. May we, her parents, with great wisdom and a hell of a lot of patience, guide her in the direction of those Jewish values we have long held so dear. And may her community of friends and family be as present for her always as we are in this moment. And I see friends and family from all over the country, a lot of my Cole and me family here gave us these beautiful flowers you can't see, and a lot of my Temple Judea family from LA and people from many different parts of my life. Great to see you here from all over. And so we would like to share a little bit about how we chose this name. So how we chose the name Miriam Ruth for our daughter. Ironically, in this week's Torah portion is the week that Miriam actually dies in the Torah. However, we see that when she does, the people of Israel mourn, and also they are for the first time without water. Wherever Miriam went, water followed her, providing hope and life for our people. She was a protective, caring older sister for her brother Moses as well, who she placed into a basket and followed up the Nile River to ensure his safety. We also read in the Torah that Miriam was a flawed individual, but she was still deeply loved. We hope that our daughter will be, one day, a great older sister, and that through her, our people will continue to live, and that she will be a symbol of hope. We also don't expect perfection from her, but we will always think that she's perfect regardless. And we hope that that symbol of life and hope will have extra meaning since she came into the world in the midst of this pandemic. The name Ruth is related to the Hebrew name Reut, which means companion. In her, we know we'll always have a constant companion and friend. In the Bible, Ruth was the first Jew by choice, and she showed faith and loyalty to our people and dedication to her family and strength in times of difficulty. She was also the great-grandmother of King David. We hope that our daughter will also be dedicated to the Jewish people and faith and family-oriented and persevere through difficult moments and instill a love of Judaism in future generations. There are other Ruths too that we think of in this moment. Of course, in this past year, we lost the iconic Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and we hope that she will share her dedication to justice. I also think of my great aunt Ruth Kahn of blessed memory, and I see her daughter here, Aunt Marcia. Aunt Ruth was the funniest woman I ever met. We hope that she will have Aunt Ruth's great sense of humor, but maybe a bit more of a filter. And in choosing these names, though, we wanted especially to honor Miriam Ruth's 4 biological great-grandmothers. In Ashkenazi tradition, we name the first letter of a name after a deceased relative. 3 of Miriam's great-grandmothers' names start with M: Marjorie, Maureen, and Margaret.
I knew my grandmother Marjorie as my green goose. She was one of my favorite people I encountered in my life. She always had the ability to make people feel as though they were the most special person in the room. She never believed in waiting for birthdays to give presents. She valued education and giving, having a scholarship in her name at Boise State University. Marjorie had the ability to stand up for herself and be feisty when necessary. It is our hope that Miriam will share her kindness, love of giving and learning, and her ability to make others feel loved and special while still being assertive. We also hope she will share Marjorie's love for ice cream sundaes. Miriam's great-grandmother Maureen died in childbirth when my mom was 2 years old. While Maureen did not get the opportunity to watch her children grow up, we hope that Miriam will be the type of woman who would give her life for her family too, and that we will be able to carry on her great-grandmother's memory as her namesake. Marjorie had 3 sons and no daughters, and was thrilled when I was born to have a girl in the family. Likewise, Maureen had 3 sons before my mother was born, which brought her tremendous joy. We can only imagine the happiness they would feel today in meeting our daughter, another little girl in their family.
Miriam's great-grandmother Margaret, my nanny, was a woman who showed determination to overcome obstacles. She found herself as a single mother during the Great Depression to my Aunt Frances of blessed memory. She particularly enjoyed making for me numerous quilts that I cherished in my childhood, one of which we put over Miriam as she was coming home from the hospital. We hope that Miriam will receive her perseverance and love of arts and crafts. And the name Ruth is largely an homage to the most inspirational figure in my life as a Jew who I never met. and that was Miriam's great-grandmother, Ruth. Ruth stood at only 4'9", overcoming polio as a child, and also other personal challenges in her young adulthood. Despite this, she was a woman of incredible strength. She had a deep love for Judaism and was on the board of every Jewish organization. During the 1950s, Ruth went to kindergartens doing puppet show performances about why segregation was bad. People told her that's too political. She said, no, it's Judaism. She helped organize marches for civil rights in the Midwest. And she was an ardent Zionist, buying State of Israel bonds and bursting into tears when hearing the story of Masada. We know that she would be immensely proud seeing Judaism today continue through her great-granddaughter. We hope that Miriam Ruth will inherit her great-grandmother's strength, commitment to social justice, love of Israel and Judaism, and her volunteerism for her community. In taking this name, these women will live on in our daughter's actions as we hope she grows to be a Jewish woman of kindness and strength who makes the world a better place. And we have one of our good friends here I want to acknowledge. Since coming to Utah, Jill and I have had the fortune of being wonderful friends with Governor Herbert and his then Lieutenant Governor, now our current Governor, Governor Spencer Cox. But as getting to work with the governors, really one of the most wonderful privileges is that really we got to become one of our closest friends in Utah, Mr. Utah himself, Mike Maurer. And so Mike, I know, has something he wanted to read for us. So Mike, thank you for being here, my friend.
Well, it is a wonderful honor on behalf of Governor Cox to be here to share this proclamation. I will say I was able to find out 6 days ago the name of the child so we could get this done. I've held a lot of state secrets. I have been so spooked the entire time that I was going to let you know when we were inside looking at this beautiful baby Miriam, who's also the name of my oldest sister. So anyway, I'm so thrilled that this name is out, so I don't be the one who let it out there. But the governor, and just as a point really quick, my assistant had prepared it and had done the had done the fake signatures, and I'm like, this is such a big deal that we interrupted the governor and lieutenant and his wife to do the real signatures. And here's the real pen that goes with it. But the proclamation reads,
get him new pins though.
Oh, Gary Herbert pen. Forget that happened. Yeah.
Spencer some pins.
Yeah. Proclamation, whereas Governor Spencer J. Cox and First Lady Abby P. Cox have been advised of the birth of Miriam Ruth Spector, born June 9th, 2021 at 10:24 p.m. And whereas they wish to congratulate Miriam's parents, Jill Suzanne Spector and Rabbi Samuel Lewis Spector, on this important event. Whereas Jill Suzanne Spector and Rabbi Samuel Lewis Spector's service to the state of Utah has been a blessing, may their daughter be a blessing to them. Now therefore be it proclaimed throughout the state of Utah that the governor and first lady offer best wishes to Miriam for a happy and healthy life, dated this 18th day of June,
with KUER's
2021,
mobile app,
by order of the governor, Spencer J. Cox and Abby P. Cox, First Lady. We are so thrilled to have our newest Utah here, and we love her parents and the entire community of which she's a part. So welcome to Utah's newest Utah.
The KUER mobile app is available for free on Apple and Android devices. Download it wherever.
I know everybody thinks that their kid is the most special, but how many kids do they? Thank you, Mike.
Andrea Blaine, classical host on KUER's all classical music stream, made possible by generous listeners like you. Thanks for your support of public radio.
I had all my readings organized now that arrived.
Naomi Franklin, can you please mute?
The grandparents, all the grandparents, back up here one more time. I'll do my reading. And
I'm Scott Blankenship. Thanks for your company.
On up, grandparents.
BBC Proms is a pretty big deal in England. It's an 8-week summer concert series that was started back in 1895.
One of these.
Most of the performances
Wait,
are in
can somebody please mute Naomi Franklin?
It looks
Naomi
like
Franklin is making a lot of noise throughout this.
it's on July 30th through September 11th. But the proms, that's where Ray Vaughan Williams' oboe concerto was to premiere in 1944, but there was a real threat of a V-1 flying bomb attack.
Say to our daughter first before
It
grandparents read
but
this.
was cause for relocation.
May your eyes
in
sparkle with the
Liverpool
light of Torah,
and in London.
and your ears
Next,
hear the music of its
English
words.
Chamber Orchestra
May the space
and
between each
Emily
letter of the
Haleford
scrolls
plays the
bring
oboe.
warmth
Benjamin
and
Wolfish
comfort
conducts
to your
the
soul.
oboe concerto of
May
Ray
the
Vaughan
syllables
Williams.
draw holiness from your heart, and may this holiness be gentle and soothing to you and all God's creatures. May your study be passionate and meanings bear more meanings until life itself arrays itself to you as a dazzling wedding feast. And may your conversation, even in the commonplace, be a blessing to all who listen to your words and see the Torah flowing on your face. Grandparents, you want to read that together?
We are thankful for the blessing you have bestowed upon us. We have been granted an immune love, strong in chapter in our family's strong. May our grandchild grow up in health and happiness. May her dear parents find much joy in the years that lie before them. O God of life, may they raise their child with wisdom and understanding. May they teach her the ways of righteousness, leading her to the study of Torah and the practice of love and kindness. May we too be granted the joy of seeing her develop all her gifts. May we know the joy of helping her fulfill the best that is in her. May we know the joy of passing on to new generations our values, our stories, and our traditions. Then our prayers will have answered, and as we share the joy of our children and grandchildren. Amen.
Amen. If you could pass that Kiddush cup right there. And this Kiddush cup was from Jill's bat mitzvah, which was on June 9th. And it was also the day we got engaged was June 9th. And lo and behold, our little girl came into the world on June 9th. So I'm buying lottery tickets next June 9th. And we have this Kiddush cup with her mom's name engraved on it, and also that date of her birth, just 2 years before she showed up though. And so Mom, if you could take a little bit of that, you could just dip your finger in and put it on her lips. And we'll say, as our daughter has a bit of this, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri haolam. And it's also, as this is the first time our daughter just performed the mitzvah, saying another blessing as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu razman hazeh. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this moment in joy. And now I'll say, we start to conclude. The blessing that we say to our daughters, find it here. Just got it. There it is. Yisimech Elohim Kisara Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yivarecha Adonai Yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you safe. Yair Adonai Panav Elecha v'Yifunecha. And just as we have found joy in you, may God always smile upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha v'Yifunecha. Shalom. And just as we hope you make our world a more wonderful and peaceful place, we pray that God grants you the most precious gift of all, a lifelong journey that's filled with peace. And together we say, Amen. And I'll conclude with one final reading. May you, Miriam Ruth, daughter of Israel, be remembered as patient like Sarah, gracious like Rebecca, nurturing as Leah, loving like Rachel. May you be remembered as devoted like Ruth, dignified like Naomi, faithful like Miriam, determined like Tamar. May those who experience you remember you to be heroic like Judith, wise like Gloria, compassionate like Emma Lazarus, assertive like Golda Meir, courageous like Hannah Sinish, and hopeful as Anne Frank. May you always be a blessing to us. And as we welcome you into the people of Israel, let us all say, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Singing Tov, Singing Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Singing Tov, Singing Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Singing Tov, Yehelani, Yehelani, Oh Yisrael, Yehelani, Yehelani, Oh Yisrael, Yehelani, Yehelani, Oh Yisrael. Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining in online. Like hundreds of you. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Shabbat Shalom.